It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Uriah Afolabi. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akasha Zibiri. How are you?
Fine, good morning.
Morning.
Grateful to God for life, for everything. And we are back to our house. So my mom, I went to take her back home on Saturday and spent the weekend with her. And she's not been around at her house for a while because of her health issues. But she's insisted that she wants to go back home. Sorted that out over the weekend. It was a bit emotional for me, you know. We're coping.
That's your mom. Oh,
we're coping. We're pushing.
You've been on that. It's very emotional journey for you.
I've been having to go home as often as I used to when Daddy was alive. So it's good.
No, for life, yeah.
Amen.
How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. Grateful to God for life. Kids are going to be back in school tomorrow. I couldn't thankfully, I was reminded, get them ready for today. So I just said, hey, first day of school, play, they want to go and play. Let them resume tomorrow. But as she's talking about her mom, I've been trying to get my mom to come to my parents, mom and dad, come to my place and just rest. And my mom is like, no, my area people, this one, like everybody. I'm like, you say you're tired, you want to rest, like just come, you know. So I think I'm just go and I'm going to go and collect them and bring them to my house because it's important that we spend as much time as possible with them when you have them available, you know.
That's me. So you got that right.
I know.
Talking about spending time with her, my mom has been with her sister in Jalingo. She's been there for a bit and she's going to be there for quite a while. And I know it was something my mom has been wanting to do for a while. It was one night she woke up crying, I need to see my sister. Like, if she really wanted to do this, so I'm happy that she's with her. Yes, and that's the thing about relationships. I was talking to my siblings that we sometimes take it for granted that because we're born of the same parents that our relationships are just, you know, done and dusted. But if you do not put in the necessary work to improve those relationships, you find yourself...
Whose birthday is today?
You find yourself... Oh my God.
Oh my Lord.
But I've learned from this that we've been talking about to have more kids. Yes.
Linda, what?
She's learned to have more kids.
I've been thinking about it seriously.
I've actually been thinking about it too.
Open to having more kids. I see that, you know, when they grow older, they keep some relationships. That's what is most important. I remember my neighbor's family are in Kano, and he was the only one in Lagos. And when the last person died in Kano, I saw how badly he was. Just didn't think he would cope. They are your best friends as they are growing older. It's easier. I
love that. I don't like this conversation.
No, I'm thinking about it.
I don't like it because my husband and the siblings were talking yesterday and I was like, you guys are making me feel bad that I don't have anyone to talk to. That they were really talking planners. No, I don't have any sibling to be checking on me. They are actually having a conversation for another of their siblings' business. And they are strategizing on how to help that one boost his business.
When you outgrow when children outgrow you, whose relationships would you keep? It's usually visiting sisters.
God is my God is my relationship.
I know my kids will go there.
Thank you for asking, Jerry. I'm fine. It's just we're planning for school. We're getting ready for school, and I was going to say something like I had a banter. I thought the pastor was starting today. That's on Wednesday. So we'll start on Wednesday. 50 days.
All right. So you have coffee today.
Wow.
I'm doing just preamble. Preparing my mind.
It's not 40. 40 days.
It's 50. 50 this time.
At church they can do 100 days.
Yeah, they ones praying for the nation. They are the ones with the burden of the nation. Yes, we are fasting
carrying the burden of the nation. Okay.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
To help you. All right, thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Tinubu, I'll be fair to all tribes in front of the mama crowd here in Kwara. NDLEA intercepts drug consignment in wooden statue. CBN cash withdrawal limits policy goes into effect. Security spreads net to rescue 31 train travelers in Edo. Rivers bars Atiku's campaign from public schools. And Sanwo-Olu to Nigerians shun evil predictions. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, so I don't want to start with the sad news, but 13 new COVID-19 cases were reported in Lagos and Edo.
Did you say COVID-19?
Nigeria has recorded 13 new laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Lagos and 1 in Edo, according to the NCDC, after their weekly epidemiological data from their agency. And they're asking, the necessary care should be taken. We've noticed this cough around us, dry and all of that. It came with the harmattan. We cannot tell the difference. So let's just be on the guard.
I just know that someone told me last week that I'm not the Minister for Health. When I said that we should go back to wearing our masks and everything, especially our children are going back to school. And you know that we've just recently asked that all the regular protocols be put aside. I think we should just go back to wearing our mask and sanitizing our hands. NDLEA is, they said, has frustrated an attempt by some criminals to import illicit drugs into the country. They said that they had hidden these drugs in a wooden statue and also some imported vehicles. These criminals they used different types of ways to bring in these drugs. They said that they import consignments of illicit substance into Nigeria and export the same to the UK and the UAE. The boss for the NDLEA has thanked the officers and men of Tinkan, the MMIA, Dogi, that's DOGI, Lagos, Kaduna and Kano, and also the Imo commands for their arrest and for these seizures. So they're asking, Bubamara is also asking that all of us across the country, be part of this war against this drug, and they'll also intensify the hit on drug cartels while balancing their efforts on supply reduction with drug demand reduction activities. So I'm hoping that is maybe more sensitization and awareness programs for, a lot of the young people, I think, who are targeted for drugs like this.
So, Governor Sanwo-Olu yesterday at the Thanksgiving service at Tafawa Balewa Square was saying allegations to continue to keep the faith, and he has asked people to shun evil predictions of anarchy and violence peddled by false prophets and enemies of the country. He was saying that we have to live up to the spirit of excellence associated with the themes agenda which his administration has started. He also spoke and told us that he's expecting or hinted that President Muhammadu Buhari will be in Lagos in the next 2 weeks to inaugurate some of the iconic projects, amongst which were the first phase of the Blue Line Rail, which is and also the Immortal Rice Mill, the first phase of the Lekki Expressway, and the J.K. Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History, as well as the kickoff of phase 2 of the Blue Line from mile 2 to Okokomaiko. So that we're expecting the president within this period in the next 2 weeks. It was just the Thanksgiving service held yesterday, and it was a good time to reflect on what the administration was doing, and hope they were thankful for coming as the elections are coming forward.
Yeah, and this star, my church, drama group got to perform during the Thanksgiving as well.
Nice.
The Atiku campaign has been barred from using public schools. There was a 95 million naira that was paid to the government of Rivers State to get approval. This was confirmed by the spokesperson of the state PDP campaign, Ogbonna Nwuke. He said that the payment was made to the government so that the local states-related elections, that is covering the party governorship, national and state House of Assembly rallies, can be held in different facilities. However, they cannot be used by the presidential campaign committee of the same PDP. The PCC cannot have access to the already paid for locations by the River State chapter. So obviously they have not resolved the issue within PDP, and I'm not sure, I don't know how the presidential candidate of PDP will be able to campaign in River State based on what this article details, because they are not allowed to use public schools at all.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the Punch. Edo train attack, soldiers, police, vigilantes track abductors. 31 passengers missing. Picture story here of Armed Forces remembers governors seek support for fallen soldiers and families. Call for missing baby probe rises, government mum. Jackpot, more youths sell assets, seek fortunes abroad. Forex allocation to telecom sector drops. Raid, air chief regrets civilian casualty, orders probe. Agents protest as customs hike imported vehicle duty. And electricity consumers demand new tariff reversal. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The picture story, so the governor of Ogun State, Mr. Dapo Abiodun, at a special church service to mark the 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, was held at the Cathedral Church of St. Peter's in Akiabekuta on Sunday. And he just, his message was that he wishes to reiterate that it's important that we have this annual celebration. But then these fallen heroes have dependents, and it's important that we provide for them. And he was calling on to well-meaning Nigerians and just all of us to be able to contribute something towards their dependents, so they're not suffering as a result of the sacrifices that our heroes have made on behalf of our country. He, of course, he says we're grateful for how our country has been held together because of these sacrifices.
Okay, let me take another story in Punch.
Okay, let me take the Nigerian Customs. So the Nigerian Customs has year on year continue to increase the cost of imported vehicles, duties on imported vehicles. So, and this report in the Punch says that they've increased it again this January by 10%. And so the agents are complaining. Punch interviewed the some custom agents, the chairman of the Ports and Terminal Multipurpose Limited chapter of the African Association of Professional Freight Forwarders and Logistics of Nigeria, who said that the custom has hiked their duty to that of 2014 baseline. So I think 2014 cars and below is baseline for how the duties are paid. And according to him, he says there's a depreciation cost, 10% depreciation value rate on those cars that are supposed to be paid back to the agents, which is supposed to, but the customer has not been paying that. Now the customs public relation officer Timi Bomodi says the development was based on government's fiscal policy on age limit, and that nothing has changed. I don't think it is necessary. These people know the rules. We don't need to start this year like that. People are trying to see that things work out the way it should be. The government, of course, is trying to raise money. We don't need to be hitting ourselves over the head. We don't need all of this. But the agents are insisting this will, of course, affect cost of vehicles, and will stop importation, which will, of course, take them out of business. I think because customs should, start to balance things every year. In fact, the whole of last year, we were always taking the issue of the NCS on front pages on these increases, increments, and now is affecting businesses around the ports. They should balance things. It's extremely important. We cannot take out food from people's mouths while we're trying to govern them.
So I wanted to take the story about forex allocation as reduced to telcos. Between 2021, from the breakdown, and 2022, there's been a decline in the amount released to telcos. Example being that in January 2021, $21 million was released to telcos, but in January 2022, it was 18 million that was released. Information also had it that in March there was 12 million released in 2021, but March 2022 it was about 8 million that was released. The conversation is because telcos need these monies to settle, enable procurement of equipment, pay for things such as softwares, hardware. It also helps in fulfilling international obligations that they have to provide the services they give to us. Good news though is that the Forex, the CBN has been able to include telcos in the priority Forex list. an arrangement made possible by the Minister for Communication, Mr. Adebayo Shitu, and the expectation is that this year things will look better for telcos. He said that it appears telecommunication companies will be struggling to access the needed forex, but they are hoping with the priority list will be a bit easier than it was last year for them.
I'm going to break. This human interest story is rather very pathetic. I'd like to take that story when we come back. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
Eh?
I said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75.
I confirm.
Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It all starts.
Yes, I want to take the human interest story. It's about call for missing baby probe rises. So the Lagos State Police Command have remained silent over the disappearance of a baby. So what happened was a woman, a child, her name was, I'm trying to get the child's mother, Fortune Obafuso, said on Friday, December 23rd, after she had delivered her baby, the police came into the hospital to arrest her from the SCID. She's 35-year-old. They took her. The police's name was Inspector Samuel Ukpabio. So he took her and the baby, and according to the woman, the baby was taken from her and never returned. And the police was saying that she wanted to sell the baby. That was the allegation against her. But since that time, the police then gave her 15,000 naira, threatening not to return the baby, and now gave her 170,000 naira again. And there's a suspicion of maybe did he sell the baby, or was the baby sent for adoption. That wasn't very clear on what happened. Although lawyer Falana has gotten involved and has insisted that though the police, through the spokesman Benjamin Hundeyin, said that the policeman has been arrested so far. He said it's one thing to arrest, another thing to actually charge him to court. They're yet to charge him to court to know exactly what are the facts of the case, what happened to the child, where are the whereabouts, who was he, was the child given for adoption with the mother's authority, what exactly happened. We're still waiting to hear from the police. The police have been quiet on this matter, but it's important for us to continue to ask the questions and hope that the investigation is concluded and this 35-year-old woman is giving her baby back. Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Edo train attack. Security agents comb bushes for 31 abductees. Cash withdrawal limit begins today. Ohakim thanks Nigerians for solidarity over the terror attack. Okay, which story are we taking?
Okay, the Edo train attack. Many of us heard over the weekend that there's been another attack on, in this case, is a train station, and it was in Edo State at the Tom Ikimi train station, Igwe Ben in Edo State. This happened on Saturday. The victims are the manager of the station, Godwin Ope, that there would be passengers on the train and also people who were just around the place. They said that about 31 people were kidnapped during this attack at the train station. So this wasn't a moving train like the one that happened on the Kaduna Abuja train. This was at the train station where they just came and just rounded up people that were at the train station. And the report so far is that the police and security personnel are on the heels of these abductors, and they're doing their best to make sure that they arrest them. The district commissioner also said that one of the victims escaped at 8:15 on Saturday, and that the other 31 were still in captivity, and that's all that they can say. The NRC is saying that they can't really say much because it's a security issue, but they just know that the police and security personnel are on ground to make sure that these people are arrested, and also one suspect is in custody.
Okay.
So let me take the story of the new CBN policy taking effect from today, which comes 4 days after the central bank has asked all commercial banks not to give the new Naira note over the counter. Just 4 days ago, CBN has given instruction to all commercial banks not to issue new Naira notes on the counter, but they should use it through only ATM machines, which means that for them, if it would provide better circulation. From today, however, the new policy takes place. This new policy means that you cannot withdraw more than 500,000 naira monthly as cash. No, weekly. Under the new management, weekly limit for cash withdrawals. For individuals, 500,000 naira. Companies, 5 million naira. And if you decide to withdraw more than 500,000 naira as an individual, you would have to pay a 3% processing fee. As a company, if you decide to withdraw more than 5 million naira, you will pay a 5% processing fee. And also they said if you are going to be doing this, you need to submit your anybody that wants to withdraw money via check above 100,000 naira cannot get it as cash. I'm sure what that means is to be paid into the account, while extra limit of 10 million naira on clearing checks still exists. Then if you want to pay in cash into your account, you will need to drop your national ID card or passport or driver's license. You must drop your BVN, drop your tax identification number of both the payee and the payer of any amount more than this 500,000 and 5 million naira. There's a lot of regulation that will be implemented. We will start implementation today, and let's see how that plays out in the bank.
Okay, let me just take one more story. I think it's important. So this is an update on the assassination attempt on the former Imo State governor. We remember that 4 of the police officers attached to him were killed. And so in a statement that he endorsed, he says that the miracle of his own immediate family being safe after that attempted assassination, they owe it to God, but they're still deeply hurt by the loss of lives of these 4 police officers. He says that they will do all their best, that he knows that there's no amount of words, that can be written to comfort the families of those that lost their lives, but they'll do all their best for their dependents so that they do not suffer any untold hardship. I just thought it was important to take the story because a lot of people focus on the fact that he was grateful that he didn't lose his life and thought, does that mean that the lives of the police officers is unimportant? And I'm happy that he made this statement to show that he's deeply sad that they lost their lives.
Nigerian Tribune, 30 missing in Edo train station kidnapped. Nigeria trade surplus rises to $11.53 billion actually. Old Naira notes, no extension, January 31st, deadline stands, says CBN. 2022 floods affected 24,714 persons in FCT, says agency. Obi calls for multi-layer policing. Atiku Tinubu, Kwankwaso Obi in brisk moves for northern votes. An article in London on British government invitation, says campaign organization. So, Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party has said he will facilitate a multi-layer policing to ensure that lives and property are secured with the legal backing that would meet constitutional requirements. He was saying part of this multi-layer he's talking about was the fact that they involve community leaders, they involve local government chairmen to be responsible for the security of their various local governments, and also integrate traditional rulers in order to secure the various communities within their domains. They also see how they can also encourage citizens to also participate, to have an inclusive government where citizens have the access to their security and to help a safer Nigeria. He also said that he will provide at least 20,000 megawatts of electricity for Nigerians. And he made a lot of promises. This was doing at the Channels TV town hall on Sunday night, which he was there with his vice presidential candidate. They said quite a few other things, but I'm happy that he's still engaging the voters. And as the elections are coming up, we're going to hear more from lots of other candidates.
Yes, so the CBN release reports that Nigeria's trade surplus rose from year on year by 96% to 11.58 billion for the first 10 months of 2022. That's between January and October 2022. And the report shows that merchandise imports rose for same year on year by 1.47% to $42.61 billion in 10 months from $41.99 billion in that period. I'm hoping that the surplus is as I understand it. So a surplus means that if it's compared to our export surplus, it means that as against imports, we did better. That's what I understand surplus to mean. But I'm reading it and I'm seeing they said that in the report they noted that Nigeria's trade surplus fell month on month from 93.7 to 50 million in October 2022 from $750 million in September amidst higher import bills. The story is not just clearly explained. The surplus is falling, meaning
let's take the story. Vanguard?
I have one in Tribune.
What's the last story?
Okay, so over the weekend, there were reports that the presidential flag bearer for PDP was rushed to the UK for treatment for an undisclosed ailment. The spokesperson for his campaign, former Senator Dino Melaye, says that this is untrue, that his principal has been invited by the United Kingdom, just the same way the candidates for APC and for LP were invited, and that was the only reason that he's there, and not for all the stories that we have been hearing left, right, and center. So
okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our first discussion of the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Gbenga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the questions.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for Inter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this. Because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking, because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a trip, a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good talking.
Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
I think it's only that can be wicked.
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
Such a feud.
SUBTERFUGE.
So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
Thanks for staying with us. Less than a year after the Kaduna train attack happened, report has it that the gunmen suspected to be headsmen kidnapped scores of passengers awaiting to board a train from Igweben, Edo State to Warri in Delta State, leaving many travelers injured. Now, we'll be speaking with a guest to help us understand better what is going on. We're trying to get the speaker of the House of Assembly, some leader in that state to give us an update on what's going on. But while we're trying to connect with them, we'd like to hear your thoughts on this, because this is quite sad, considering the fact that the country just recently has a similar experience on a train, an active train from Abuja to Kaduna just last year. You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. There are always copycat actions, people taking advantage of a situation, people even masking to be headsmen, because that's the one that's going to make headlines. If somebody just got kidnapped without anything like that. So this could be anything, and it could be actual headsmen. We never know. Investigations are still ongoing. What are your thoughts? This what happened at the train station. I know that for the Lagos Ibadan train station, as I said, I entered it sometime, and the man had harassed a young lady, and thank God there was the police. In fact, there were 3 policemen within the train that were able to help the girl, although she felt that the man escaped. But there was police presence in the train at the time. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that there's been a laxity on security? And what are your thoughts on this recent Edo attack, as we're hoping to get more information from authorities very soon? Okay. You want to start, or Nima?
All of us the 3 of us are affiliated to Edo one way or the other, and I feel it's so sad. I felt that, especially after what happened with the Kaduna and how it took so long before they could fully rescue everyone, I can't believe that any train station would not have, it would be like, when you get it, you'll be like, what's going on? Like, everybody should feel like, why do we have so much security presence here? Because there's a precedent. We've seen it happen where, and it's sad that I'll be drawing this correlation. We've seen cases where if people say they want to protest, and they want to have a protest anywhere around the country right now, the police would show up with such huge force and presence. But the complaints people have been bringing on social media is, we're not seeing that same thing on other areas where there are threats to human lives in Nigeria.
Let's clarify that. When they have protests, sometimes it is hijacked by hoodlums.
Obviously. So we have capacity to show up.
I've seen protests where they allow them to go. The last one we had with the NSAS, there was people just moved on. They were not. Well, we did a few issues here and there, but the point is that they show up. I'm not trying to defend. I'm trying to make it clear, because we are educating Nigerians.
I know.
So that,
but the way you're saying it is making it look like I'm saying something different. What I mean is, security presence is very, very visible during protests.
Yes.
And yet we have security challenges and security threats to every train. Everybody that gets on the train right now is going on the train based on the faith that government is going to protect me, because we all know it's a threatened place. So we should have just as visible security presence in all train stations.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. So that visibility, we should might as well have it all our schools, might as well have it all the bus stops, might as well have it in all our homes. No, because the truth is that it can happen anywhere. So as I'm having that presence at the train station, please, the police should also make sure that every bus stop, because there's something happened in Corridor. I don't know what happened. That I saw some flames happen. We might as well have that kind of presence across in schools, because our children too are also being threatened. Don't you think, Tokwe?
No, I don't think so. I feel that there are public places are under the jurisdiction of public security operatives, and those such places where we know that there will be threats. It's a different thing if we're saying that there is universities. Universities can get attacked. But if you hear any wind of protest, Mariam has said it several times, that when they hear wind of protest within JOS, the moment it happens, security operatives go out, announcements go out that everybody gets to your place. I know for a fact that it's not like they are folding their hands, but this kind of thing happening, that people actually get, the kidnappers get away, not that they caught on the way.
Okay, let me come to Mariam. The reason I was taking on Tokwe was because anytime something happens, we always say, they should have known, they should have put, and I feel like it's always that we're so quick to say, you should have done this, but thinking, if you're a leader, how many resources do you deploy across the country? Because attacks can happen really anywhere. What are your thoughts on this attack?
So I feel sad, truly sad that for the families of these victims, and groups of families now will be starting their new year wondering where their loved ones are. That's one. Secondly, I'm really sad also for my country. I'm sad and I feel sad for the present administration, the past administration, that as they work towards the development of our country, that we have saboteurs that seem so powerful, that they come and they destroy the work that, you know, that is being put in place. I know how it is easy to blame the government for not putting enough security at train stations, especially since we're still trying to get over one that, you know, so you would expect that you have more security across maybe train stations. But you're right, Mariah, how many of them do we have, really? We have complained about the very low number of police officers that we have in our country. We have complained that some of them, we have complained that some of our VIPs even have more, you know, that we have more of the police officers attached to our VIPs than there are, you know, on ground to protect regular Nigerian citizens. So these are the issues in our country. And what makes this particular situation so sad is you can see how some of the mistakes we have made, not putting in enough funds or resources towards our security personnel, not able to get as many police officers, train them properly, equip them properly, so that when situations like this happen, it would not take too long for arrests to be made. These attacks, it's harder to man like the way protests are, you know, manned, because they don't send you a note to say we're coming tomorrow, or you don't usually hear here and there that there may be an attack here. It's done in such a way that it's supposed to shock the country, you know, shock people, shock the victims, shock military. So you find out that they are actually just trying to catch up to what these attackers are doing. So I really am sad. I just hope that when we find these people, we make an example of them, because they are our enemies. Sometimes when we discuss this, we make it look like maybe it's our government that is the enemy. The government is not doing anything to protect us, but the government is also trying to defend us. We have read since the train attack, what they have done, what they have put in place.
You wouldn't even think Edo. You think like, so the north, the Kaduna to Abuja, we saw all the apparatus and all that, but you see, you wouldn't think Edo. So but you're supposed to think ahead. That's what I'm saying. Those are the mistakes that we make as a nation, because we have not put in the necessary funds, and we don't think ahead. We find ourselves in situations like this. The speaker is waiting on the call, but I want to take your own initial thoughts. But let me see if I can just get the speaker on. Good morning, sir. We have our guest, that's Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, retired Right Honorable Marcus Honorable. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good to have you on the show this morning. I know you're not the police officer and all that, but we just wanted to get somebody from Edo to speak to us this morning on this matter. Do you have any updates so far on the arrests that have been made, or if there are any investigations ongoing so far since the attack?
Well, the news got to us as a rude shock at a time when we expected that the security situation is coming down across the state. The demons were off the head. So far, so good. The security agencies they are on top of the game. I understand that both the Army, Police, and the DSS, they are doing their work. They are moving around the forest and all that. So we are expecting that in the next few hours or days, that there will be something tangible to tell Nigerians. But I want to use this opportunity to completely condemn the attack, and it's one attack that has come to us as a shock, and we expect that these characters will be brought to book.
Nima.
So how developed, because somebody, an eyewitness was saying that the train station is usually deserted. It's only, the activities only happen there when the train stops there to pick up or drop off passengers and move on. So usually it's an empty, like an isolated area. How can you confirm this, and can you say the government did to sort of avert or bring activities around there?
Okay, you know that this train station has been there for a very long time, and very recently the federal government established the station for passengers to go through that route. Yes, it's in some kind of remote area. There are no much presence of other activities apart from the train station. But I think with what has happened now, it's an opportunity for government to find a way to beef up security within the train station, and as well bring up or create other activities that will not make the place like a disaster or an isolated area.
Okay, Speaker, one thing I know, because as I was saying earlier, that we like to point fingers as Nigerians, but the truth is that we don't have any other thing to do. That's the only thing we can do. But can't government adopt technology? Because all over the world, it's impossible to get police at every single place. So it's when you have cameras installed, CCTV, that's how you have an idea what's going on, because those are the eyes and ears government would have, especially in public places. So it's impossible to deploy police in every, that's my own perspective, it's almost impossible to deploy police in every corner, because you don't find police every corner when you travel in the world. But at least they engage technology to help to know who is moving in, who is moving out, so that if anything happens, they can find the culprit. Do you think it's something your government can begin to employ, or has it been employed already at that train station?
Well, that is the trend as of today. We expect that with the deployment of technology, we'll be able to track activities along the train lines across the country. But you have to understand that this is an agency of federal government. There's little that the state can do. But I can assure you that with the security architecture of the state and the way and manner with which the government has tried to police the four walls of Edo State, these criminals will be caught in no distant time, and that with the technology deployed so far that is being used in the state, I'm very sure that they will be closing in on these criminals shortly. But as for the facility at the train station, I am not too sure that these technologies are there at the moment. But if they are not, I'm sure with what has happened now, it's a cause for concern for the government to do the needful to make sure that these train stations, whether in Edo or every other part of Nigeria, that there is adequate deployment of security gadgets and technological equipment to track every activity that is going on across the country.
Okay, so we also heard that the Commissioner for Communication and Orientation has said that there was a victim that was able to escape on the Saturday as well. I don't know if you've heard any more from that, and what you can tell us, given how sensitive the situation is. What information can you give us based on the escapee?
Okay, the information we have gotten, because that's part of my constituency as well, is that there are some children that there's a little girl that was able to make her way back, and a few other children that were left after the incident. So that's all I know for now. I don't know about any other escapees from the kidnappers there.
Okay. We'll have to let you go now, but we thank you. Any other questions for him? I think we'll allow you to go right now, but we'll definitely keep our tabs on Edo State to know, to get any follow-up from the government on this. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning.
All right, thank you for your time. God bless you all.
What are your thoughts on this? Yes,
I didn't want to. There was no point asking him the question I would have asked, because he wouldn't have been able to answer. But the truth is, kidnapping happens. We've spoken to a lot of our politicians, and they make it look like security has really improved. You've not been hearing, like, people don't talk about it. A few of them get to the papers, but kidnapping still takes place, especially even within Edo State. There was a time just within the last quarter of last year that my husband and his siblings had to go for a burial in Ewoimi, and on their way back, it was just, thank God, because there was a car left bullet reading in front of them. There was no physical, there was no other person there, so it felt like kidnappers came in, carried those people away. So these things happen on a regular basis. We cannot make it look like, oh, we're shocked by it. We're not shocked. we know we can, except we're trying to ignore the fact that there's insecurity in the country. We know there's insecurity. We're only praying that we escape, that it does not happen to us, or that when it happens we only hear of the story, or like we know. And there's a conversation of making it look like because things are not as gruesome as probably what we were hearing back then, things have really, really reduced, but they still happen randomly, and those random ones, we don't want them to be collateral damage. Like in the case of what we had with the former governor who lost police officers. Our mom said a point that is very valid. Till today, a lot of our VIPs have 1 to 2 police officers protecting them in their cars with AK-47 that is not bought by them. The VIPs, police officers have AK-47. These are tools that are bought by the police to protect Nigerians, but are now used by few people. And we are now complaining we don't have enough men on ground to pursue criminals when it happens.
Well, we don't have enough men, really, because we have less than 500,000 police officers. That one is the fact.
So we are mismanaging what we have.
So the one we have, obviously, we are mismanaging. But the point is that how can we employ advanced technology to support ordinary the toll gates? It's the news station internationally where they would tell us, okay, trucks came to shoot at some point. So something must give us information. Something must be able to help, because there's no way you can deploy 500,000 policemen across to guard 500 million and 200 million Nigerians. It's impossible. So we need some. Do you have any comments on social media I want to take?
Okay, I thought Nima was going to give her.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to say that, I've always, traveling the Lagos-Ibadan train, I've always felt that, people living around the train stations where, not necessary, that somebody should make sure that they don't build around the tracks. But now I'm seeing different, because the state of the ones in our inner other states besides Lagos is why, attacking them will be easy.
Good.
The Edo case is a case in study itself. What happened is that area, when activities come, there are only a few people, traders, and those, using the train that are there at part-time. Yeah. There's no development whatsoever around the tracks. Yeah. The same thing happened in the Kaduna, Abuja one. The place where the attack happened was completely isolated from reality. And so if we can find a way, the way we have railway crossings and people developments around them in Lagos particularly, if we can have that in the inner states, it will be extremely important. Also, just as Tokpe said, Edo State has to sit up on security. In my state, in my own community, kidnapping that used to be something that, was unheard of became normal. People go to farms and they don't come back. Things started happening. Towards the end of last year, churches were attacked. People were killed in their farms. And those states will just go on business as usual. We are not hearing them. I wanted to go to the speaker before you ended the question, that what is the government's position on security? But it's not the speaker we should be talking to. The call is that of the governor in that state. Kidnapping is normal in Edo. In the days of Moshomole, I would like to say it here, this is not about partisanship. There was a situation that was happening on the Benin-Ore road so frequently. He had to sit up. He did something about it for it to reduce. People traveling then had issues on the bad roads. He dealt with that was within the state. You can't continue to say this thing is a federal thing and you just isolate as if these are not your people. These are your people, and people cannot have a free field day in Edo and you say Edo is too big. Secure the state. It's not that hard. Secure the state. Do what you need to do. Let's see you sit up on it, please, Mr. Governor.
Okay, I think that's all we can take on this, unless we have anything on social media. We have to wrap up on this, but we'll continue to wait for a few developments. You have more?
No, just a few people feel it's quite shocking to them, it's like what is happening in Nigeria. Wow, what's really happening in this country? Does that mean security and surveillance federal government promises to put in place are all scam? Or it's only for a particular area? This country cannot be trusted.
I'm an optimist, and I really am one of those Nigerians that actually believe Nigeria. So when things like this happen, I'm just one of those people that want to see what the government is doing first. What have they done? Yes, they made some efforts in certain areas, but the truth is, as we said, the state governors must take more responsibility. Realistically, it's almost impossible to have
Nigerians are now paying ransom by themselves and helping
exactly.
You can't leave your people to self.
So the point is that there's much more than just deploying securities. There's got to be much more solutions to that. It's more about us taking responsibility. Those who are also taking advantage of headsmen labeling, so the headsmen are going to. You can't keep doing that. So people are just taking advantage of kidnapping and are kidnapping people. So we also need to find a way. Just like I think it was Peter Obi was saying that once you fight, you're going to go multi-layered approach, where it's getting the community leaders, getting the others, getting the people involved. Let us find ways to secure ourselves also, as the government's also doing what they can to secure us. Well, we shall continue to find out from Edo State, to find out, get an update in the police, what's been done. Hopefully these people will be found very soon. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll bring in our special guest of the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome showstopper, voice, stage and film actor, CEO and celebrity mom, Oluwabamike Olawumi Adenibunyo, aka Two Shots in the Air, Bam Bam!
This is mean. I feel set up today. My guards are down. It's not fair. Guys, beg for me now. I'm hearing them saying, please.
No,
please. Can't you hear it?
No, they are saying you should actually drink.
Oh, when me watch this show, more history me. Drink it now. You must even up the game. Mama says, oh man, me. No.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's Your View. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Hair, be beautiful.
Thanks for staying with us. Join us on the show is the People's Democratic Party Lagos gubernatorial candidate Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran, popularly known as Jandor. He will be speaking on his ambition of becoming the #1 citizen of Lagos come May 29th, 2023. Also, he's been discussing his plan and manifesto for the people of Lagos State. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
To have Jandor in the building. So one of the very first questions we always ask any gubernatorial candidate that we have is, why do you want to become governor? That's the very first fundamental question I'd like to ask you.
Okay, so thank you very much, guys. It's nice to be with you. And let me commend you for the good job you've been doing.
Yes.
And I saw that you interviewed my would-be predecessor last week. So that was a nice show. But anyway, if you know the state of Lagos very well, everybody agrees that it's a wealthy state. Of course, nobody's contesting that. But unfortunately, we've never had this wealth reflect in the daily living of the people of Lagos State, even on the street of Lagos. And I think it's about time for us to birth a wealthy state in truth, as against being a wealthy state on paper. We brag and say this is how much money we rake in terms of revenue and even capital receipts. But unfortunately, we can't see anything commensurate with this naira and kobo. Can even speak to, if you speak to the 23 years of the current party reign in the state of Lagos, then we have to, we won't stop until tomorrow. But if we will look at the 4 years of this current governor, we'll see that, unfortunately, despite huge revenue that has accrued to the state of Lagos and in terms of IGR and everything, there is nothing appreciable to show for this. Just, I mean, it was there last week and it came on national television lying. Yes, I use the word lying because I'll give you facts so that you can also fact check it. He said he built 4 MCCs. You understand? He mentioned the one in Alimosho, he mentioned the Tiosa, he mentioned, you know, and all of that. If you go and fact check, you will see that the one he spoke about in the Tiosa was actually commissioned in September 2019. That's 4 months after he came into office, so he couldn't have built that. The one in Igondo was commissioned October 2019. That was built by federal government through office of the SDGs and handed over to the state of Lagos. How dare you lay a claim to that? But for a government that has nothing to show for its 4 years reign, it would want to do such. And because of the conspiracy of silence in Lagos, we will want to do what and say, okay, everybody will just take it like that. No,
Let me go back to the question I asked you. Why do you want to be governor?
I just told you. This is what we're speaking to.
Okay.
We want to birth a state that is wealthy in truth.
Okay.
Now, listen. You know, I just said something. Another thing we need to do to achieve that is to break this monopoly. This monopoly of having one head thinking for everybody instead of Lagos. Whether you like it or not, we've only had one governor since 1999. Every other person, they're just practically absent there because they require second-level approval before they can make Lagos or do anything in Lagos. So our coming into this space is to break this monopoly, open it, allow fresh thinking and new ideas to flow. You can imagine if this government is the one controlling, say for instance, the entertainment industry. Wizkid music wouldn't have traveled without visa. They would have monopolized it. Or you know, all this and all of that. So what we are coming to do is to ensure that we have Lagos revenue reflect in every sector of our living in the state of Lagos.
I have a lot of questions for you. That's why I wanted us to go on.
So I've always heard your campaigns and I've heard the Lagos for Lagos movement. You're constantly promoting that. So what would you exactly say is Lagos for Lagos?
Okay.
I was born here.
No, it's not speaking
I just want to understand.
No, it's not.
Let me set my question clearly so you understand. So I was born here, bred, schooled here. I know Lagos would, better than a Lagosian would. And if Lagos for Lagos is by ancestry, you'd say I should be in Edo State. So I want to understand clearly what you mean.
Okay, so that's what we said. Lagos for Lagos is not literally speaking to indigenous Lagosians. It means a Lagos that will work for everybody in Lagos, that work for Lagos, irrespective of where you're from. 7 years ago, we started this journey of Lagos for Lagos. So Lagos for Lagos mantra has everybody's expression embedded in it. Either you are from Igbo extraction or you're from Arewa, because in that movement, we have structure within the Igbo. We have structure in Arewa, even in market and town unions of Igbos. So I'm not sure they will join if they believe or think it's just going to send them out of Lagos, of course. So it's what it is, because that Lagos that we're speaking to hasn't worked for anyone. It has only been working for a selected few. And we want a Lagos that will work for everyone, where in your village you'll be able to decide who is that king in your village, not somebody else. Where you'll be able to decide who is the chairman of your local government, who is the councillor in your ward, as against what we have as we speak. That's Lagos for Lagos. Yes, please, I'm here.
So, please, you've said this a few times. While I am also of the opinion, and I've mentioned on TV that there needs to be, and I even asked the governor, that there needs to be a cost-reflective expenditure, where we hear budgets being expended on a few kilometers of road that is really huge, and he was able to break down, oh, this is because Lagos is largely under below sea level, because I've had that belief that we could have more with the money that we make what is generated within Lagos State. But you know, as an opposition, and you're coming to say there is nothing being done, when as a Lagosian, I can see work being done. So you tell me it's sort of like, I would rather you say, okay, maybe these areas have not been covered, but being factual. When I'm driving and I go through Ekpe, which is where I do my business, I see concrete road being done. When I'm on my way there, I drive around Aja and I see a flyover being constructed. I know that that's a concrete job being done. So, and if I don't need to go into an argument about it, I'm neutral here. I just want a case of, let's acknowledge this has been done, but we can do more, or based on the amount spent on this project, I can deliver 10 roads for you, that kind of thing.
Okay, it's fine. I totally appreciate you and your choice of word of being done. As a matter of fact, he came here last week to also use the word being done. In 4 years, we're still talking about being done. I don't know if you understand. In 2 years of Ambodi, he has done 114 inner roads in this Lagos. He has done flyover in Naija, completed and delivered in Abule Egba. So this governor came here to say being done. See, this is how you measure it. It's not about whether being done or not being done. First, you look at what was the poverty rate of the state of Lagos when he came to office. It was 4.5. Now we have it at 8.5. 4.2 million Lagosians are extremely poor in 4 years. This is not my data. It's there. What was the unemployment rate when he came to office? As we speak, we have 1.8 million Lagosians poor. I mean, not having anything to do. And when he came into office, it was 14.6. Now it is 37.16. After a claim he has invested 10 billion naira into Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, which means that money further impoverishes us. Where did the money go to? These are what we're speaking to. Now, you're talking about that road in the question. I know Lagos very well. And you're talking about the bit that is being done. Now, if you want to govern a state like Lagos, you have to be deliberate about what you want to do and how you want to achieve it. Let us talk about that axis. I'm saying in the state of Lagos, under 4 years, we have the resources to make sure from Lekki to that Ekpe that you're speaking to, we fly over every intersection. That will take away the traffic situation we have in that place. In 4 years, River State Governor, Yeson Wike, with little resources compared to ours, built 12 flyovers. 12 flyovers under 4 years, between 2019 and now. And they don't have as much as we have in terms of IGR. They didn't even borrow as much as we have borrowed. We're saying in our own case, we make sure that all intersections, we fly them over. We also have money. You see, by the time the deep sea port is in operational and the free zone, you will see the pressure that you're going to have on that road. And by now, we ought to have built the coastal road. You know, to take a whole lot of pressure off that side. We're not doing anything. Now, if I were the governor, what I would have done differently, rather than building from Eleko Junction to Ekpe, I would look at the amount of vehicular movement I have between, what do you call it, this VGC and Shongotedo after Aja, and built that place instead. It is a terrible traffic is here. So how many people leave Eleko Junction that you built to inside the way? So you have given priority to those ones. They are still building in the last 4 years. And there are also roads you can build in that place. I said I went to on a work tour and I visited 129 wards. I was in Ekpe. I visited all the 19 wards in Ekpe. One of the Riverine community there. In fact, when I left there and I exposed it, they went there now. They're now grading that road. we should have built a bypass in that place from that Eleanor Ogbe junction and build it down to Itomu.
There's
We
so
take
much
traffic up there and bring it to Itosa. So
There's another question.
we can speak more to this infrastructure because she was talking about.
There's a lot.
Let me ask you my first question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you mentioned the governor of Rivers State, and I would like to remind you that it was one of the governors that commended the current governor of Lagos State for doing a fantastic job so far. But I would like to find out, for you, what specific thing would you do first? Let's not look at calling someone out. I just want, this is a stage for you to tell us exactly what you would do first for Lagosians, what you feel that is the most pressing need for Lagosians that you attend to immediately.
Okay, so the moment I get in the office, so I'm going to use his last 100 days, to start work, which from March, the moment I'm declared winner of the election, we start to work, because I know I'm going to resume in May. And that is the time you have flood taking over Lagos because of the season and chaos everywhere. So I know I would not have a state power at that time, but I will engage volunteers and those that would want government patronage to assist in getting to all our water collectors and start desilting everywhere in preparing for this. When I get into office, the very first thing I'm going to do, I will put a stop to the nonsense in this harassment from the NURTW of Lagos, and I'll put a stop to it finally, because I know if the government of Lagos wants it to stop today, it will stop. But because there are tools in their hands, they can't stop it. That's the second one. Then when we get into office, we have a kiosk in our hands that we're not seeing. Over 2 million of our children that are out of school doing nothing. Okay, it's not in one day that I'm going to build schools where I'm going to put them, where I'm going to look for human resources to take care of them. But there are policy of government that can do, because we have over 18,000 private schools in the state of Lagos, and 5,000 of them are registered. So what I'm doing as governor of Lagos is that to someone in meeting of the private schools and tell them, hey, I have a situation in my hand. I have majority of my children out of school. So this is what I want to do. I want to see as much as them that can spread across this private school. I'll give them uniforms, I'll give them all the learning aids, I'll give them anything in return for tax incentives or holidays, to say, please help me take this off school while I then embark on aggressive.
Let me stay on that, because that sounds very interesting. I like that idea. Well, you see, one of the challenges as governor that you would have is the fact that every single day more children are being, like right now in this January period, lots of people are bringing coming back from all over the country. So if you want to bring in underage children to come and start, although it's illegal to start as house helps, and they will throw them into your public schools. So these children are coming in daily. So even these private schools you think you're going to be talking to, they wouldn't want to absorb some of these children. Number one. Number two, how would you be able to absorb these children that come in influx? The other day we had a child from the north, or was it Bauchi or from Borno, saying, oh, I just came in, she's learning English. They will keep coming into Lagos.
Okay, let me
how would you absorb and make sure these children are educated?
Okay, let's start this way. I just spoke about my policy of taking them off the streets.
Yes.
Okay? Even if it is 10, 20, 100, I'm able to take off the streets.
Okay.
With what we have is minus. Now you're saying there will be influx, which we don't have control over.
Yes.
And let me say this. When I was discussing this with a friend of mine who happens to be in education, he said, oh, this is nice. But do you know we can take it further by making use of churches, mosques, to put these people and get one or two persons exactly to teach them. And before we know it, we'll be able to observe, look, you have to be deliberate about it. Don't cry for Argentina. Whether they're going to be influenced, we'll take care of them.
Emir of Kano suggested it, that there are more mosques in Kano than schools.
Exactly.
And the mosque only opens 5 times for 5 daily prayers, especially during the morning till the afternoon prayer. It's enough time for school time. So we have infrastructure that we are not utilizing. I love that. But you had mentioned the 114 roads by Governor Ambode, and the moment you mentioned it, I started thinking.
Yes.
What would you consider the duration of the construction of a road, and how would you say a road is complete? Now, I live on Irode Road in Amuodofi, and Governor Ambode visited, in fact, the moment he became governor, within the first 7 months, he visited that road. He awarded the project, the contract, and I was elated, because at that time, I had never seen a governor in that area. And the moment he visited, construction work started. sand filling started, and then everybody moved out of sight.
Okay.
Till this governor came back on site, and within his first tenure, that road was not complete.
And you think I'm the problem?
I'm asking, because you made that example. You know, when you make that comparison, I am a citizen.
Yeah.
I suffered it and I benefited the completion. I want to see how what you would consider a complete work. Because just as Tokwe said, let's give credit if it is due. This is to just explain. I suffered that road. And when I got the relief within his first 1 year of governorship, you know how I would feel. So when you say 114 roads, did they complete all the roads? Have you tested the people living around?
Did you start all the work?
Or was it the ones awarded on paper? And government is a
Okay, he started the entire 114 and commissioned them.
Irede was part of them.
Hold on, no, Irede wasn't part of them. I know the road.
Irede was part of them.
It wasn't part
I live on Irede Road.
No, that's my area. I'm from that division. I'm sure you know.
I know.
Irede wasn't part of
well.
there. These roads, as inner is their local government road. In fact, it did in conjunction with the local government. And they've started and completed it and commissioned it. You can fact check them. Let's put that aside. Now, you're speaking about starting a road, abandoning it, and all of that. That is what we're speaking to. It is only an independent governor in Lagos that can start a project and finish it. And that wouldn't have been anybody's problem. Because, hey, and just like we see it, I am sure somebody somewhere would have, and this is the monopoly that we're speaking to, we need to break it. We need to break it and ensure that we have an independent government. That's why somebody like me didn't go through that route and said, okay, I will throw my hat into the ring. Let's see, and let's Lagosians for the very first time elect who governs them as against somebody suggesting somebody to them. This is the problem of that road. I can speak to more of it. And the moment you have that, and somebody said, I'm not interested, or the money is going somewhere. And that's it. This.
So you're saying the money was taken somewhere?
This assumed conversation.
No.
This is a big conversation that we had.
We took our money somewhere. We suffer for a way.
If you call all the ones that I've said,
so let's understand.
Hold on, my sister. If you call all the ones that I've said a beer parlor conversation.
No, not that part. Just one of the conversation.
Everything of the second level approval is in a bit.
I said it because I know it is. Yes.
If you call it a beer parlor conversation.
Yes.
Where we are sitting right now, here, this TVC premises, used to be Lagos Polytechnic, Lagos State Polytechnic property. Now, even if you tidy up everything and it's so legal for you to sell it to yourself, is it morally right? I don't know if you understand. So, is this beer parlor?
I was definitely. I
am saying, even if.
Mr. Jandor, I'm only going to break. We're going to stay on that. This thing you just said, we'll talk about it after the break, because initially you talked about the wiki. My producer is telling my ears to correct the fact that he was there for 7.5 years and he did only 9 flyovers. Let's get that correction. Let's go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue. 9 bridges.
Okay.
9 bridges.
Go and check what I said. You will see that he has awarded the 12th one.
Okay, so we're going to go on a break.
Come on.
When we come back, we'll start off on where you left off. So that you don't think I'm trying to deviate. We'll go back to it and then we'll dig it properly, because Lagosians want to know what you want to do. Because it's one thing to come and accuse. I'll let you talk. It's one thing to tell you what your predecessor did, what they did not do, and where the money is coming from, where the money is going. It's another thing, because once you get victory, yes, I finally found it. I've snatched the government from you now.
Yes.
I have it.
Yes.
Now, what are you going to do? That's the most important thing Lagos wants to hear.
When
we come up from this break, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail, or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fella. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by all this one. It's not by all this one.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have Jandor with us, and we're having a fantastic conversation on his governorship aspirations in Lagos State. And before we left, you were talking about the fact that what I had called a beer parlor conversation. And what I say is that people say, "Oh, Lagos State money is going, we're not getting as much revenue as is being stated out, or is one person has been governor since this year's, is only the person controlling, and all the other governors are puppets." It's the same thing everybody talks about, and it keeps going on and on from everybody discussing it as gist. But the truth is, with or without the authenticity of these
allegations or claims. Is Lagos moving forward? Many will say yes. Compared to other states within the country, people will say Lagos is probably the best state to live in because we have an influx of citizens coming in. So, in that view, as a new governor, if you do become governor, how would you take this state a notch higher? And I'd like to start on the place of health. Health is a major issue. Many people are complaining that our hospitals are ill-equipped. Our doctors, most of them have jackpot, and we're having issues with insurance. So as governor, I'd like us to stick to the issues and not just what they've done, what they are doing, or what they've not done, or what they failed to do. That's something I can read in the papers and I can discuss and gist my friends. But this new governor that wants to be governor of Lagos State, what is he going to do to make my better better? So I can give him my vote is what I want to hear on this next segment, sir.
Okay, so you can't talk about a solution without first analyzing the problem. You have to first do a thorough, you have to diagnose the problem and talk about solution. In the one suite in your word, you said, many said Lagos is doing well. Again, you came to say our hospitals are ill-equipped, this and that. So I'm just giving that to you so that you look at what you said. So let's speak to the issue. Now, in the health sector, we first need to know what is wrong with that sector of our economy in the state of Lagos. Like I said to you, in my campaign, when the government of Lagos said we cannot paste posters, we cannot do billboards, we decided to go on ward tour, touring all the wards, and I visited 129 wards. I'm sure you know what that means. And I say to you that 85% of places I've visited no primary health centers. I can speak of a particular village, Uriba in Ekpe Ward C1, no PHC, and women like you gave birth on Kano. You understand? And you one abalis came and said, "Emi baby won," in Lagos. And we drove 18 kilometers to that town. You will ask yourself, is this Lagos? So my visitation to all those places, I need no soothsayer to say to me, and I have no godfather that will say, bring the money for something else. I'm going to face those areas and ensure that we have what is due for them to have a proper healthcare. Not only that, we'll make sure that all the nurses or whoever is going to work there, they're going to be residents, because getting is a riverine community. Getting to that area alone is an issue. So we have enough revenue to ensure that we have PHC at least everywhere, I mean, to cater for these persons. Now, let's speak to secondary and tertiary hospitals. You see, for us here, we think it's about building blocks, and we say we've given health. The same way when they build blocks of classrooms, they say they've done education. No, there are policies that you come up with that will take away the sufferings of the people. Let me give you one. If we get to our general hospital today, what we see is that patients littering everywhere in the name of no hospital beds. Of course, we understand because there's a shortage of infrastructure in terms of beddings and all of that. My government, when we come into office, the first thing we are going to do will be to automate all health institutions in Lagos, both private and government hospital. Automate in the sense that you cannot transfer a patient from your hospital to the general hospital until, of course, you know there is a best place to put that person there. Rather than having my patient or my citizen littering the general hospital everywhere. Keep that person in your hospital and be managing until you have a space to put them. It's just like you have a dashboard where you pick seats on the plane to say, okay, I have one, I don't have one. But again, what we can also do is that we can quickly do a makeshift, just like we have during COVID, you know, in general hospital, and create some wards if, you know, we quickly need a space, and put this thing there, pending where we put up an infrastructure that will take care of all of this thing. Now, two policies of mine in education and health that I've spoken about won't take £1 from my pocket, and I'll quickly get a solution to something. That's what we're talking about, fresh ideas and new thinking. So that one is there.
But I heard the government has something called floating clinic for riverine areas. Have you heard of that?
There is nothing like that. I just told you of a riverine area where they give birth inside Kwenu. I have visited everywhere. You know, I have gone to everywhere. We're not talking about Rose, we're coming to that one. But this is what we are going to do. We will sit down.
No, just to understand better, they gave birth in the Kano.
Yes.
The hospital is in the Kano, or they were in transit.
Transit.
They were in transit. People give birth in transit. People give birth in the marketplace.
Listen, man, if you have hospital in that place, I don't think anybody would get to Kano and be paddling into far away where to look for. No.
Riba is really very undeveloped.
Exactly.
No Riba.
Okay. So, usually when we talk, I'm not born Lagosian.
Okay.
I'm become Lagosian by marriage and living here.
Lagosian?
Yes, so I'm a Lagosian, I guess.
Yeah.
But one of the things I always say is that the Lagos governors and those who run to, govern the state are of a certain type.
Okay.
And you don't find them all across Nigeria. And we always say we hope that other governors can take a cue from that. So I am not surprised that you have so many fresh ideas and, new ways to do things. But by all means, I would like to ask you this question. There's Chief Olabode George had accused you of, not keeping to an agreement. And for me, does that speak to your character and your sense of integrity? And if you cannot be trusted in small, can we trust you in big things like this?
Okay, thank you. Now, Governor Olabode, Chief Olabode George, when he made that statement, even though I know, like he said, it's touched on my character and integrity in my person, because he's my leader, I refuse to, talk back as is. But the truth of the matter is that we never had any agreements, and that's the truth. And we couldn't have had such agreements with him dictating to me who to be my running mate. I don't know if you understand. So, and that speaks about the kind of governor you are going to have in Lagos. Not a governor that somebody will say, take this and will jump at it. No. Even if I want to look at what you are giving to me, I will subject it to, some sort of interrogation and will allow superior agreement to prevail in the interest of Lagosians. So we never had any agreement, so that is not even coming up. And if you understand, his policies is our leader, and in their usual way, our leader wants to be our leader. But yes, of course, because there are no issues. But what I maintain is to ensure that I try to be my own man who will serve the people of Lagos, not minding who success God.
Okay. Let's talk about a divided party or united party and how that will work in your favor or against you. So, obviously, we've also gotten to interview Gbadebo Rosevival on the show as well. And we know that outside, even within the state, the fact that some people still feel he left the PDP. Your party as PDP itself is not a united front.
That's not true.
We read the papers, sir. The papers. We read the papers, sir.
Please clarify for me.
Yes, there's a G5 group, integrity group, and they are not totally in support of the way the structure of the party is at the helms of
enlighten us.
Okay, so let me
G5 group
let me speak as a politician now, and so that all of you have an idea of this. Okay, now the G5 governors, they are leaders in our party, respected leaders in our party, and we believe in them. You understand? And because they are veterans in this game, and they decided to take all of you who are not politicians for, what it is, and push you, you understand, around. And let me say it. Have you seen any one of them who says PDP will not win in my state?
No. They've all said PDP will win in each of their states.
Thank you very
much.
With
governorship, local government, and everything.
Thank you very much. So let me ask you.
But they've not said about central.
No problem. Let me ask you. Where is center?
Federal. Presidency.
Where is
Presidency.
Where?
Presidency.
Where is the place?
Abuja.
Is it not a combination of rivers, Lagos, Ogun, everywhere, and all these places that have said that party must win?
Yeah.
That will give you center. Come on, stop falling for all of this thing. They will not do otherwise. They are our governors. They are going to support their party to win. So that is why you see.
I could have sworn that Otom said he was supporting Labour Party.
It would amount to death penalty for anyone to do that because you are also on the ballot on the same day, the same election. So they are going to give my illiterate mother, God bless her soul, 3 ballot paper, and majority of them are the ones deciding our election and say go and vote. So you will not have to tell my mother one is for this one is for that one. Come on, it won't work. So
okay, but let's talk about campaigns.
Everybody should stop jubilating and think something is wrong with PDP. PDP will win this election landslide.
How would your campaign be in Lagos? Now I'm waiting to see because they've gone to other states where their colleagues are also contesting for your case in question right now. and they've not come to Lagos yet. Are you bringing the G5 governors as well?
No, we had that campaign in Lagos already.
Governor Wike was there.
No,
all the governors were there. It doesn't show United.
It wasn't around.
It doesn't show United.
No, that's not the issue. When I decamp from APC to PDP, all of them were here. They were all here. They came to receive me into the party. In general, they are still united because none of them has said do otherwise in my states. And it is the combination of these states that will produce who is going to be president of Nigeria.
Yes.
I need all of us together. You will see the very smart politician that was romancing them because he was a very smart politician. The Emilio Coman, he just pulled us in. Only you, right? You understand? And he faced his face because he understands that there is no how you want to do it. Except you're not on the ballot.
Okay, let's talk about your strategy as a politician in Lagos State, your plans, because we hear that there are certain communities you're focusing on. So, again, the apologist, that's Alimosho, the numerous area, these are the areas you're looking at. That's the area you're hoping to get the votes and looking for the youths. What exactly is your plan? How do you plan to, because this is a governor that has won an election before. APC is, Lagos State is like an APC state, where it is an APC.
How do you break it?
So how do you break a state that is predominantly, or has been an APC since 1999?
Okay.
You know, what's that strategy you hope to engage to win this election?
Okay, so don't forget that I was coming from the same APC.
Yes.
Okay, and if you
so
see,
you know their books.
If you see my campaign, you will know that somebody accused me and said, not accusation really. So I said, Jandor, we noticed that you will not be speaking to the business community. I said, of course I know, but by February, I know 1 meeting, 2 meetings with the business community, I will get what I want from there. But you see the grassroots, where the battle is, it takes time, huge resources, and for you to be there and ensure that you swing them to the, because every other person will leave us with speaking grammar, they go to where the vote is, even if it is 500, someone who got into office with 730 something votes, 11% of the entire, you understand, which means that the 84% that they vote were the one that gave him the office. You understand? So that is why our own strategy was to focus and take the battle to their stronghold, and that's why they can be so facing us and hitting us and all of that. Now, I'm from Lagos West. I'm from a division that has never produced governor before. I'm from the largest senatorial district in Lagos. We have 10 local governments. Our vote is over 60% from the entire Lagos. If we're able to zip up that side, it's gone. Today, you will see what is happening. They were calling all our royal fathers, making them, you must deliver your word, you must deliver this, asking them to publicly announcing people to vote for APC. We understand, but our royal fathers know that if PDP wins in their domain, the moment we have won, we have won. If anybody remove them before I go to the office, I will return them there. So they know it already. So there's nothing. So our strategy is to ensure that we go to where the votes are. We will not totally say we will not speak. Of course, my policy, I need the organized private sector to come play. I'll open it up. But I'll first get to the office. And getting to the office is just go and get the vote. And that is what we're doing.
What's your comment on social media?
Okay, so your obvious opposition, don't say, is APC. But then the LP governorship candidate is also seen to be someone that could affect your votes because of the betrayal that happened, quote unquote betrayal, that happened, during agreements that fell through.
That your leader lied about.
Okay, so
and you said your leader lied about.
You can get your fact. In our leader's interview, our leader said we had an agreement. That
so he lied about
hold on. That you will go for governorship, he will be deputy governor. That is his words, right?
Yes.
He said that we start with all the leaders and we had that agreement.
Gentleman agreement.
Which means that we must have had that agreement before our primary election, correct?
Okay.
But if you follow the story, you will realize that on the day of my primaries, we had 6 of us running. 3 people pulled out. Doherty, Dosumu, and Jim Kamal. So we are left with 3 people that went to the venue. Badibor was rival, myself, and Dakova. So if we have had an agreement at the point where even the first three were stepping up, somebody ought to have said, me, I have long withdrawn from the race because there was an agreement. We went to the venue of the primary together. So I don't understand.
I got you.
So I won't say more
than that
about an agreement.
Okay.
So let's bury that.
Let me just be a bit sentimental. We interviewed Rodvivo here. He seems to be a very brilliant, intelligent Lagosian. And you chose Funke Akindele. Is it just for the feminine balance? Or you just don't think he's as brilliant as we think he is?
Okay. I mean, I need to first say this. And I need to first express my disappointment in all of you, the four of you.
Funke is our friend. Leave
I need to first express he's your friend, but on this program, you never for once put up a defense for one of you. You know, a Lagos girl child that I chose to be my running mate when everybody was eating hard and say, what is wrong with Funke?
Yeah, are you sure about that? How would you want to show?
Well, okay, I'm so sure. Because if they've done that, I've seen it as popular as this program is. So I didn't see that.
No, you didn't.
And not only you, even Wimbis. I was shocked. This is somebody that has invested so much in this economy, mentored young people that Lagos had paid zero attention. You know, investing in this economy, employing people, and none of that. So I'm just going to tell you that, look, in this game, they speak about politics. What does she know about politics? And I ask you, what is politics? It's just a game of numbers. Whoever can give you numbers, I mean, is a better politician.
So that's why
today, I'm coming. That's one area. They say, what does she know about governance? I ask, what is governance? Because the failure of these 23 years that, you know, condition our head to think is rocket science to govern this. It's just to see to the well-being of the people of Lagos. Nothing more. And using their resources, you know, deploying their resources for the betterment of everybody in the state of Lagos. Nothing more. I mean, if this thing has had cost to spend in a private business, turn it around, make profit.
I don't think anybody objected to Funke.
No, she asked me a question.
It was a question.
I'm answering your question.
Let me rephrase.
Revival.
Be personalized. No.
I don't have to.
Let me rephrase her question so you understand where she's coming from.
Okay.
Funke as a person is successful.
She's
somebody that is a friend of the house.
Okay.
And nobody can ever object. And as a woman, we don't like to just celebrate you because you're a woman. We celebrate you because you actually have content. And that's what she does. That's a given. It's not a debatable conversation. It's a given.
We would like you to
what she's saying is that Rodvival is equally smart.
So
why did you choose one over the other is the question.
I'm just asking you.
No,
it's not the feminine part.
Yes. Rodvival, just like you said, of course, is also a very young, successful Lagosian. Okay? And for me not to find myself in a situation that we have had in this state before, where a governor had to use 3 deputies, so it's better I avoid it. And pick somebody I can work with.
That's the answer. You want to travel to Sokoto. I want to take this call from Hassan that I want you to. Hassan, are you there for calling?
Good evening, everybody.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I hope you are not condemning me today and you are not taking me up today. But
I can't hear you.
You are my friend.
Yes, go ahead. I need volume. I can't hear you. Go ahead.
Good. Please. Abdulaziz Adebire Jandor.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
Please.
And the question is what on my disagreement with you by trying to use Wike as your campaign selling point.
Anyway.
For your information, sir.
To use Wike as campaign something.
No, for your information, sir.
The what?
I'm having
River State cannot be compared with Lagos State because River State is working in derivation form unlike Lagos State.
It has more derivation
funds compared to.
Okay. Has it landed?
No, I think he's trying to say that
we're having issues hearing everybody.
It looks like a he's saying that the comparison.
Has it landed?
Yes,
okay. Get the question.
If what we pick is what it is, he's trying to say we shouldn't compare.
Yes.
You understand?
Leaders and leaders.
Okay, but I'm saying that the facts are there in terms of revenue generation cumulatively, both for federal and the IGR and everything. And we're saying this fact is there to the point that Lagos hasn't done with all the revenue and borrowed amounts this 4 year alone as much as Rivers has done with the little money in their kitty. Look, go and check this. 2022 what do you call it? Fiscal performance.
Because we have very little time.
Hold on, man. 2022 fiscal performance. Lagos is now ranked among the first 5. Rivers is number 1, followed by Kaduna. Lagos is not ranked, despite the huge revenue.
Regards what?
It's not ranked.
Because of very little time, we have so many.
That's enough fact for everybody to know this is not working.
I want to force you to do something for me.
Yes.
One of my...
I won't abuse anybody for you.
One of my challenges with changing party politics is that there will be a stall in activities. We've had it happen in other states where it seems another person, they just, when anybody thinks about it, they just first start doing investigation. The first 2 years is to say my previous government, they did not do this, they did not buy hospital. Like, so I want you to give 1 or 2 policies and programs that has worked in the past 23 years that you intend to continue, that you will not stop.
Trust me.
Okay, let me take that question. I'll let you have a call for us, so you join together. Good morning, Mustafa. Are you there? Hello? I thought he was waiting. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me say this to you. I will not get into office and create instability for myself. No.
Allegations.
And negotiations. So it's going to be failing forward. Whatever it is. We will build on what is, what we have in existence, and we make it better. Go back and be looking for what is. I don't know if you understand. What we want is, we want our, even if it is skeleton that he has given to us. Go. Let us do.
Let's take this comment answer the question.
Which of the policies would you? Which one do you feel is good?
Listen, the only major policy of theirs that I'm going to put a stop to is this NURTW nonsense.
You stop it.
I will stop it.
Okay. Every hour you continue it.
Come on.
Okay. Yes. Let me take a comment on social media.
Yes, I'll take this comment. But I was going to say that of all the governors, in our country, I think yours will be an easier transition if it ever happens, because you'll be riding on the back of people who have worked so hard for a particular state.
Let me pause for a second. Let me take a quick call. Hold on. Nelson from Apapa. You have just listened.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live.
Good morning to our guest today.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for bringing our guest to the studio this morning.
Yes.
I listened to him and I recognized that he was speaking in the air. I want to ask the candidates there, because Lagos has been governed by governors who have had an history of where they are coming from, either in the public or in the private sector. I'm aware that the man there has a TV station, and the allegation that is right there is that he has an attitude of when he starts, even a staff by name Benga, when he said he owed him over 8 months and several other staff, and that he is in the habit of frolicking to London with girls.
No character assessment.
No, there's nothing we're sorry about. So let me first speak about my background. I've got both public and private background. Okay? I cut my teeth in the establishment of Lagos State Television. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And I grew that from nothing when I left certainty for uncertainty to build my own business to the point of having a TV station. Okay. So now he was mentioning somebody, and we saw it online just like every other person, who says in 2014 that he worked with me and he was not paid. So he must have been the only person that worked with me at that time. GOTV, of course, everybody knows. He was not paid. Okay, and this is 2023.
Yes.
So in an election period, you now came out to say it was not feasible. No.
Okay.
This is.
Let me take. I have a lot of comments on social media
for everything to say, how do we nail this guy? And I mean,
let me take a few.
Let me take a few, especially from people on the ground. You know, this person says, called DJ Funky Flex says, please could we ask the guest that the kilometers of flyovers in River State that he's talking about, says I'm in River State and those are not flyovers but overhead bridges and there's no comparison.
Should I address it?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're saying is this, even if it's just a round, okay, and I'll do same. All intersections that we have in Lagos, we are going to fly them over. Call it whatever name. Because the moment you do that, you take off gridlock from that axis. And everybody that has no business underneath, just fly over and go. So let him call it whatever name.
Let me take this one.
Can you give these numbers to other people?
And says that
we know how we do this.
Private school placement for kids is not sustainable.
Okay, so I never said it's going to be a permanent. So I said pending when I then back on aggressive infrastructural renewal to take my children back. Of course, it's in the immediate. What can we do to take off? See, when you ask him, one of you asked the governor when he came about the kids on Lekki Epe Expressway that comes to beg, and there's so many there. And he danced around. Why should you dance around it?
Okay. What would you do about it? We don't have any more time because I need to take comments on social media.
Will you send them back?
Move on.
No, I will comments. Send them back to where?
What would you do about it?
I will take them and how about them? We have this thing, resettlement in the Turkey. We have everywhere. If you don't have, build more. Take them off the streets.
Okay, let me take a few comments also because we have about 2 minutes left and I want to take as many comments as possible. Somebody was saying that there are over 300 primary healthcare centers. Are you building more or what exactly are you going to do about that? You don't have to answer that question now. Let me just take a few more comments. Somebody else here said, I just lost that one.
Let me read the leader.
Yeah, go ahead.
The leader says that the difference between phone care and GRV Lagos is that phone care from ground has built an empire. But what has Gbade done? Smartness is what you have done. Talk is cheap. Funke is smarter in our Nigeria of today because she built from nothing.
Thank you.
Nima, you're letting the politician from the Enudun roof for industries put in your head with dreams of a better Nigeria. Make you know mind them well.
Somebody was trying to respond to the TVC question. Says the premises was acquired for community use. School, clinic, media, hospital. The original owners were adequately compensated by the Jakonde acquired in the first place, and then the Polytechnic had been taken to Korodu before the TVC came over. Just to give an example. Others were saying, I'm trying to see other comments.
The mayor of Korodu says, if you lose the election, will you congratulate Governor Sanwo-Olu?
I'm not going to lose it. I'll win the election.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I'll win the election.
So we have to wrap up. What final words to our voters? Because people are watching. I mean, I really wanted this conversation to be more about your specific plans or how you're going to build on, because as Fakba has said, it's obvious we do see development in Lagos compared to other states. So what we want is a government that can build on that. So we wanted to see your plans, not so much of assassinating your predecessor or
I was also addressing issues, but
which is great.
At your stuff. That's not me.
That's fine. Okay,
if you haven't done anything, it's not
so
me.
Now
we're speaking to what's on ground.
Okay, so now I'd like you to speak to your voters.
Okay.
Yes.
How they're going to vote for you and why should they vote for you specifically, and you can look into the camera.
I think the first thing to do with Lagos voters is to assure them and to let them know this 2023 election won't be business as usual. First, there is change in the Electoral Act, unlike what it used to be. Election, it is now won and lost at the polling units. There is no how anybody will do anything. And let me tell you, we've heard that they will mobilize, they will scatter, they will use thug anywhere. That's the position of the Electoral Act, that we have all of this will be cancelled and rescheduled for another day. So this election, come all out, is an election that even APC, they've never gone through before. And that is why they are jittery, because they know this time, vote will count. If your vote wouldn't count, nobody will give you money to say they want to buy it. So 2023 election will be the last of this government in Lagos. We're going to put an end to it. So that dynasty that has had at Jubila in the past 23 years and birth in New Lagos. A government all of us can call our own. An independent governor in Jandor.
All right. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
To share with us your thoughts and your plans for Lagos State. We look forward and we hope and wish you all the best in the coming elections.
Thank you very much.
That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things. See you tomorrow. Bye.